guys, it's Kales. This is a different kind of recommendation video that I have for you today, and it is books I've recommended to my boyfriend that he's actually read and liked. So if you watch Book Battles or these two silly videos, you guys know my boyfriend Seth, and he's awesome, and he is a math and physics guy who reads, but not as much. He doesn't really know what to read. And so luckily he has me, who has the magical superpower of being able to recommend books to people. And I don't know, it's a magical superpower I have. My boyfriend has a very long reading list now, but there are a couple of books that I've recommended to him and he's actually read and he's actually liked. And I want to share those with you today. Let's start with the obvious choice, right? When my boyfriend and I first met, he had never read Harry Potter. He had never even seen the movies. I don't know why I agreed to date him without that, like, prerequisite, but I did, and I mean, I'm glad I did. But regardless, I recommended the Harry Potter series to him, and guess what? He liked them. He read all 7 of them. I'm just gonna say to you, if you haven't read the Harry Potter series, please do. Or I'd be really interested if you've read the Harry Potter series and you don't like the Harry Potter series as to why you don't like the Harry Potter series. That would be a very interesting discussion. So that's the first obvious choice, and now that we've got that prerequisite out of the way, let's move on to some other ones. One of the next obvious choices, my physicist boyfriend who I met while both of us were working at NASA, was The Martian by Andy Weir. This book was one of the perfect choices for him, because not only did it follow a hilarious male protagonist stranded on Mars with all of its NASA scientific jargon that he could actually understand. It was hilarious, and it was funny, and it was sincere. Actually, this book I recommended not only to my boyfriend, but to my brother, to my mother, and my father, and they all read it. And they all liked it. I'm just saying, it's a good book. Get aboard this fan wagon. Like, now. The movie's not half bad either. It was nominated for a bunch of awards. It won hardly any, but it still did really well. Woo. Next one, this might seem like a very funny kind of juvenile choice. However, another thing that my boyfriend and I like a lot are board games. So when I saw this book, Escape from Mr. LEMONCELLO'S Library by Chris Gabenstein on the bookshelf, I just had to pick it up. And actually, we read this kind of together on a road trip. I read it aloud to him, and then when I was finished with it, I gave it to him and he finished it. It's a really fun book about puzzles and kids having to think outside of the box and books and just books and board games. And it's great, because that's one of our favorite pastimes. And while, like I said, this book is a middle reader and it's a little kiddish, it doesn't matter. It's still an excellent book with a fun story, and Chris Gabenstein has a sense of humor and a sense of relating to the inner child and the inner nerd in us all, one way or another. The next book that I recommended to Seth was one of my absolute favorite books that I actually have not talked about a lot on BookTube, and I think should be talked about more. This author in general should be talked about more. And that is Lamb, The Gospel According to Biff, Christ's Childhood Friend by Christopher Moore. Now, Christopher Moore is a writer of satire and parody, and I am a huge fan of parody. I learned about this book in college from a friend of mine. He has another one of my favorites called Fool and the Serpent of Venice. He has a whole slew of vampire books that make fun of vampire books. This particular one is a parody on the Gospels of the Bible and the story of Jesus Christ, as told through his very sarcastic, very witty, very overly sexual best friend, Biff. It's hilarious and great, and what I love is that as funny as it is just as smart. And I thought that Seth would appreciate a lot of the underlying stories and underlying messages as well as the humor, because holy crap, this book is laugh out loud funny, as are pretty much all things Christopher Moore writes. I was not overly offended by this book because I knew it was a parody, and I knew that that's, you know, it was supposed to be silly. I loved it. I think it's actually very smart. Truly, really, really good. Highly adult though and inappropriate. Not a YA book. And the final book that I have recommended to Seth that he has actually read is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, which seems kind of obvious, him being a video game loving fiend, and this book was awesome. He thought it was excellent and great, and what's hilarious is I haven't read it at all. I picked it up because of BookTube, and I thought, this sounds like a good idea. And then when we were surfing through my bookshelf, Seth was like, hey, what's this? And I was like, it's about video games. You should read this. Tell me what you think. and he really liked it. Currently, it's at his house in Wisconsin, which is why I'm not reading it right now. Yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say on that. So, there you have it, guys. There are 5 books that I recommended to my boyfriend that he actually read and he actually enjoyed. So I hope you learned a little bit more about me and Seth and some books that I think are worth reading. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made him read them, and he wouldn't have liked them. If you have any questions about any of these books, or if you would like a book recommendation in this similar area of books, leave a comment down below, and I'd be more than happy to give it to you guys. I'm hoping to do this type of recommendations more often. We'll see. I'm really busy. Book Battles is coming up very soon. Go check out Book Madness, started by Magazine. I completely 100% lost and didn't even make it to the first round, which was very sad because Sherlock Holmes is amazing and I thought my video was awesome. But that's just me. That's okay. You guys should check that out and check out the videos of the contestants still in the running for Book Madness, and also you can win a $15 Amazon gift card. Links to all of that are down below. Until next time, guys, bye! Also, I just have to put this out there. So I recommended him all of those fun books, and he has a slew of other books that I want him to read. And instead, he recommends to me The People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. It's a big-ass book! And it's all history. What? Man. I'll get to it at some point. Someday. Maybe? We'll see. I guess it's only fair. Hi guys, I know how to do an intro, and it is, this is a fun recommendation, books I've recommended to my boyfriend that he's actually read. My camera's falling over.